round system for Roblox and kick off your game? I'm just saying that if you don't want to do that, then just leave, okay? I don't know why you even clicked on this video. Okay, let's open up our game in Roblox Studio. We'll start by creating a new script in Server Script Service. This is where you want most of your scripts to be. You can name all the scripts in this video however you like. Double-click on the script to open it. For this system, all the services we will need are replicated storage and the player service. Don't forget to add a few comments here and there so that your code is more readable to you afterwards. Now we'll add a variable called required players, which is the minimum number of players your game needs to work. Let's also add round length and intermission length. Creating these variables beforehand helps keep things more organized. This variable will be responsible for keeping track of the text that is shown to the player. Now, before we start writing the main loop, we'll quickly have to write out a few functions. The first one is called wait for players. It does exactly what it says. It'll just wait until there's at least the number of players set by us. Let's also change the status text here. You can customize all of these status texts however you like. I'm going to set this one to waiting for players. Now we're going to repeatedly wait for, let's say, about 0.5 seconds until the number of players is equal to or greater than the minimum amount of players. If that was simple, then watch this. We are going to create just two more functions. The first one is called start round, and the second one is end round. Both of these functions are empty for now, and both of them are executed as their names suggest. One in the beginning of the round, and the other at the end. These functions act as the foundation for your own systems. For example, you could teleport all the players to a map in the start round function, and teleport them back in the end round function. The limit here is only your mind. Now let's add the main loop to your game. This is called a while loop, which will continue looping until the condition in the middle is set to true. Since it's always equal to true in our case, it'll just run forever. A quick comment to keep things tidy. Oh, look at that. We've encountered another type of loop. For loops run a certain amount of times, which can be set by us. The letter I is commonly used in these types of loops. Keep track of the progression of the loop. This variable can be set to whatever number. After the comma, we set the result we want to achieve, and after that comes the step at which we want to increase or decrease the variable. I hope you got that. If you didn't, then no worries. There are plenty of tutorials on YouTube about them, and I highly suggest you learn more after this video. Okay, let's continue. And now we'll set the status text for the intermission. Just as before, you can manipulate this text however you want. But first, take a closer look to what we're doing here. What are all these dots doing here? Well, this is a way to add two pieces of text, or strings, together in Lua. The toString function is required because the variable I is a number, and without it, it can't be connected to a string, which is a fancy word for a piece of text. Now add a wait after the status text line, and the loop is finished. After the intermission, we want to call the wait for players function, and after that, the start round function. Now we're applying the same logic here as with the previous loop. Just remember to use the round length variable instead of the intermission length. Let's finish the loop off by calling the end round function. Wow, we finished the game now. Go ahead, my child, make millions selling game passes to 5-year-olds. But wait, we are still missing something. A remote event. It is like a bridge between the client and the server. So I'll create a new remote event inside replicated storage. Name this one whatever you like, but keep it in mind because we're gonna need it. Now, just below the other variables, create a new variable called status update. It is equal to replicated storage, wait for child, and in the quotation marks, write your remote event's name. This is basically waiting for the event to load before continuing. There's 3 places where you have to write this line. The first is inside the repeat loop in the function wait for players. You can just copy paste this around. Saves a few seconds of time. Now go ahead and paste it inside both of your loops below, and done. Wow, we've been really productive in the past few minutes. Congrats! Now comes the part that artistic people are gonna love, designing your own status text. And yes, you should design this yourself and allow yourself to go nuts with this. But just in case you want to replicate the design you saw in the thumbnail, I'll show the steps of creating it. If you want, you can skip to the next step where we create the script for changing the status text. First of all, create a new screen GUI, which will render our GUI objects. You can keep the name or change it. Then what you want to do is insert a text label object into the screen GUI. I'll go ahead and change the name. You should now follow my steps. I'll set the X anchor point to 0.5 and the position scale also to 0.5. This will set it to the middle of the screen. Most of the time you want to be using the scale option on GUI objects more because this will make sure it will look about the same on every device. Now adjust the size to your needs. Set text scaled to true. Set the font to something you like. I'm gonna choose Highway Gothic, and the background transparency should be 1. This means there is no background. Next, go ahead and insert a UI gradient object into the label. It will allow us to create color gradients, you know, like these. Now click on the 3 dots in the colors section. Set the first point's color to something suitable for you. Now choose a second point somewhere close to the middle. Find another color. Create another point in the center of the gradient and set its color to almost white. Copy the second color you chose and paste it into another point the same distance from the center point. Finally, set the last color to the first color you chose. Okay, let's check out our text label now. Wait a minute, I know just what's up. Click on the text label, scroll down and set its text color to be white. Wow, what a beautiful gradient. But you may have spotted that some of our colors are missing from this. Click on the UI gradient again and change its rotation to your liking. In my opinion, something close to 80 or 85 seems to be good. Oh, and while we're at it, select the text label again and change the text to something more professional. This is required because when a player joins, they will not see the updated status at first, but rather the text that you enter here. Now, disable the screen GUI's reset on spawn option and insert a local script into it. I'll name this status update. Import replicated storage and type out the following line. Got it? Instead of status update, you should use the name you chose when we were creating the remote event. The on-client event gets triggered once the server updates the game status. The text in the brackets there is our new status. Oh, whoops, I forgot to reference the label we just created, so let's do that first. We're doing script.parent because the script and the label are sharing the same parent object, so the screen GUI. Finally, the last line we have to write today is status text.text, so we are setting the label's text to text. And let's test. Wow, it works perfectly. I just don't like the design of this, so I'll add a UI stroke to the text label, and it's much cleaner now. If you noticed, I did not give you any tutorials on how to implement a map switch system or anything else, but the base of the round system. Remember these 2 functions? I believe that you can figure out how to use them to create your own map switching system. Good luck. If you'd like to see a video about something, or you have a question, leave it in the comments below. Thanks.
Hey, you wanna see something cool?